How is everybody doing today? Welcome to another Credit Card News live stream. I'm Cal Barton. Good to see everybody here. Let me turn this music off real quick. So I just want to say what's up. Hello to everybody. We got Danny Boy, F. Davis, Shadana, I see you, Christoph. No longer simping. I just want to say I love the name. Love that name. We don't need any more Will Smiths, Wills and Jadas out here. Miss Barton, Cheryl, how you doing? Rob Flemings, Johnny Jimenez, welcome back. So let's start with the news today, and we got some good stuff in store. I have some updates with the credit card pre-approval master list. I have updates for uh, why you should not be using a credit card to buy lottery tickets. So there's really 5 big reasons on that. So we're going to get into it right now. All right. So first up, credit card reward bait and switch tactics face CFPB scrutiny. So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is preparing to take a closer look at credit card reward programs. So the director said his agency is eyeing new guidance for how the Electronic Fund Transfer Fund Act of 1978, that laws governing electronic payments, applies to what he called private digital dollars and other digital currencies, including crypto. In particular, the agency leader said that the CFPB is concerned about potential bait and switch tactics deployed by credit card companies to entice people into signing up for a rewards plan. So, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that there's this ever-changing landscape of new credit cards coming out. Let me give you some numbers. This might shock you. So, there's actually almost 5,000 different credit unions in the US. So nationwide, there's almost 5,000 credit unions by itself. Now, when you go over to the side of fintechs, so startups related to finance, there's like 2,500 to 3,000 of those too. So they're all trying to get their market share. They're all trying to compete with one another. And what do? They offer these one-off sign-up bonuses. Sometimes you don't know if you're a customer and you walk and maybe walking through the door, or you're looking at the website or a promotion. You don't know this, but oftentimes they will give these lucrative sign-up bonuses just to get some market share, and then they'll lower them. And they'll actually pre-plan this. They'll say we're going to offer a higher sign-up bonus, or we're going to offer if you direct deposit into this bank account, then we'll give you a higher interest rate. And they'll say we'll do it for 6 months to a year, and then after that, it's over. And so they'll just do an update and say, as soon as they gather enough people, they say we don't have to offer that anymore, and they should be okay with that, because they know once they get you start to use that card or get you in the door and banking with them, they know that they have you locked in. And so it really is unfortunate that we have to deal with these changes sometimes. That when we're dealing with like a large commercial bank like Chase, they usually keep their reward structures very solid and the same over like long stretches, long periods of time. But for these new companies, they just don't do that. So I'm glad that they're going to take another look at this issue, because it happens too often. I find so many times these companies do like rebrands, and they'll basically change the look of the card. They'll change, who they're targeting. They'll basically pivot, and the people that have already signed up and love using their product are left in the dirt. And now you have to figure out what else you're gonna do. And this is again why it's a good thing to always diversify who you're banking with, because you want to not be tied down to one, because they don't care about you. Just treat it like a business relationship. You want to get as close to them, and try to extract as much available credit as you want, as much as many rewards as you can. But just realize that you don't need to be you know some sort of fanboy or fangirl for these companies, because they don't care about you. All right. So next, U.S. small businesses lean on credit cards amid inflation and funding challenges. So a new Intuit report underscores an alarming trend. Small businesses heavily rely on their credit cards amidst the current economic climate. Post pandemic credit card spending by these entities has shot up by an average of 20%. However, this rise in spending is accompanied by a significant 26% increase in monthly credit card payments, inclusive of interest charges. So, the economic times are a little bit tougher. There's a little bit of a downturn. These small businesses need that added cash flow, and they are turning to the cards for that quick access to funds. Next, boomers. I love this name. Don't you love the term boomers? I feel like it's turned into just it. Everybody can be called a boomer. Any if you're older, like I can be called a boomer because I'm 35. Somebody 20 years old say you boomer. It has nothing to do with the actual age range anymore. But boomers reach for credit cards. Millennials lean more on buy now, pay later to pay for leisure travel. So credit cards continue to be the preferred choice among consumers for financing their leisure travel expenses, with approximately two-thirds of those who traveled are intended to travel this summer, opting to use credit cards for their payments, according to insights detailed in a new study. While credit cards remain the preferred choice of the majority of travelers, there are distinct travel differences between older and younger generations. Older generations tend to opt for credit cards, while the youngest generations lean more towards buy now, pay later. And listen, this makes so much sense, right? Because when you're younger, it's harder to qualify for these credit cards. Usually you're going to need a 680, 700 and up. A lot of young people, they haven't made it there yet. If you're going for chase cars, in addition to having, a nice, a higher score on the higher end, you're also going to need a thicker credit profile. You're going to need maybe 1 or 2 years of history, payment history reporting, and maybe a couple of revolving accounts, and to mix it up and make your profile look uh, acceptable and desirable for Chase. So that makes sense that these buy now pay laters are super easy to qualify for. They pretty much approve anybody that's willing to fill out the application. It's just like put in your name and your email. Hey, here's a little bit of credit to get you started. But you don't get the problem is that you don't get the same protections, you don't get the same rewards and perks. So it's really different. So it's much, in my opinion, much worse. But for the boomers, for us, we're earning rewards. We're using those credit cards to the max. So Americans are deep in credit card debt, but Bidenomics, I'm about to say biometrics, Bidenomics threatens to make things even worse. So credit card debt has hit record highs, a clear sign that many Americans are struggling to stay afloat during this time of Bidenomics. Poll after poll shows that most Americans fully understand that Bidenomics has resulted in rampant inflation, massive government debt, and a tougher environment for middle class America. And so the guiding philosophy of Bidenomics is that the government is best suited to drive down prices and make economic decisions on behalf of Americans. This mentality has produced a host of failed policies, such as hefty subsidies for electric vehicles, market distorting price controls for prescription drugs, strict limitations on oil and gas extraction, and massive handouts for big corporations and blue state governments. So, next story is how buy now, pay later fintechs are reframing consumer credit. So, initial concerns about buy now, pay later loans cannibalizing credit card issuers' market share haven't come to fruition. But as buy now, pay later fintechs tweak their products, their loans are looking more like traditional credit cards. Large BNPL fintechs like Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay, which saw strong adoption with online merchants during the pandemic, are moving aggressively into brick and mortar stores with branded debit cards sporting credit card like features and fees touted as convenient for everyday use. The debit cards frequently enable users to convert a purchase into a loan at the point of sale or afterward. Another significant change is buy now pay later fintech's recent introduction of subscription fees, averaging about $5 a month for users to continue accessing zero interest loans, not unlike the cost of credit cards annual fee. All right, so let's talk about it. The headline is "Don't buy your Powerball ticket. with a credit card. Okay, so while it may be tempting to snag a lottery ticket right now as the Powerball jackpot spikes to $1.73 billion, the second largest in history, buying your ticket with a credit card could cost you. A lottery ticket purchase with a credit card is likely to be processed as a cash advance, which leaves you with high fees and no rewards. Now, I'm curious because I've never used the cash advance feature. It's basically on every single credit card. It just basically allows you to extract pure cash. You can go to ATM and withdraw just straight up cash and use it for whatever you need. Maybe there's something that you can't pay with a credit card, or you can't use the credit card for, or someone doesn't accept it. Maybe you're working with a contractor and you just need cash to pay them, and that's the case, you would use it. But let me know in the comment section, has do you actively use cash advances? Just put the word cash in the comment section if you actually use that feature or if you used it before. I'm curious. But listen, let's talk about it's really five things, and I'm going to cover this in probably a dedicated video later on. But there's really five things that make a cash advance really a bad thing to do. You never want to use that because there's higher fees associated. So starting with the interest. So a lot of people don't know that um, cash advances actually have a separate interest charge to it. So, for example, if you have a credit card and you have a 25% APR on that card, the cash advance APR is actually going to be higher. So it could be like 1, 2, 3 points higher than your typical interest rate. So that's number one. That's the the number one reason why you don't want a cash advance. But uh, the second reason why you don't want to use a cash advance, I'll just pull that back up, is because it gives you immediate interest. So it's similar to drawing down on a line of credit, or when you have a loan or a line of credit with a bank, as soon as you withdraw the money, draw down on that line, from day one, they start calculating and accruing interest on a daily basis. And the same thing happens with a cash advance. So it really turns your credit card on its head because typically you have a grace period of 30 days. Now, you would think that would always be the case because you're using the same card, but it basically transforms your card into a different product in total. So not only is your interest rate going to be higher, but you're also going to be accruing that interest from day one, from the first day that you pull the money out. Then three, the fees, there's fees associated with that. So typically you're going to see at least a 3% fee on the amount that you pull out for the cash advance. So it's just piling up. As you can see, it's just really getting pretty bad here. So you're going to get a 3% fee. And I believe some of them have a 3% fee on top of a minimum, one-time fee. So now we're at four, basically. Now, the next thing you have to worry about is that you're not going to be earning rewards on those cash advances. So, if your card earns 5% back, if you have a City Custom Cash card, if you have you know, a SoFi credit card, like I like to use and say, Nino, if you're here, if I'm going to mention the SoFi just to plug it real quick. Um, you're going to get 2% cash back typically on all your purchases. But if you use the cash advance, you don't get any of that. So they don't even let you get just the smallest amount back. So none of that, no rewards for you. And then finally, you can only withdraw a limited amount. Now, I feel like a lot of people probably don't know this, but a credit card, you will only be allowed to extract a small percentage of your available limit. So if you have a $20,000 credit limit, that's a nice limit. But if you do a cash advance, they'll typically only let you withdraw like 20%. And so oftentimes you'll only be able to get a couple $100 or maybe a max of, $1,000. It's just a small amount that you're not going to be able to do much with. So there's some cards out there you should know. I know one notable card I think it's called the Founders Card with PSCCU. A big highlight factor, and I know some other credit unions are like this. They will actually let you cash advance the entire available limit. So if you get a $30,000 limit, you can just wake up one day and say, "Listen, I want to transfer that whole limit to my checking account." You can do that. And I don't even think there's a big fee associated with it. So that's the nice thing about using credit unions sometimes. But definitely want to stay away from those cash advances. And I see someone say, Santos says cash advances should only be used for emergencies. So I agree with that. Uh, and I think all of us have multiple credit cards here. We have a ton of different available credit. So I don't even think it's necessary. You know, it's an extreme last resort. I don't even know why I would even need to be used, honestly, for a lot of people in this chat. Shadana, what thank you for the input here. So Shadana says PenFed has a 0% cash advance fee and you can only do half the limit. So those are two, it's much nicer. So you don't have to pay the cash advance fee, which most people are worried about. I'm worried about, but you also get to take out half your limit. Typically it's going to be only 20%. So that's really double what the big commercial banks will give you as a cash advance. Yeah, and Danny Boy said, I didn't think the lotto would let you charge a card. Yeah, I think it might be. In the story, it did say that it was possible. I know it's in particular, it pointed out Capital One sees those type of transactions as a cash advance, but some of these things are going to be issuer specific. So we've come across this that sometimes one issuer might for example, code a like for example, the Venmo credit card codes a big box store like Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart as a grocery store, but every other issuer doesn't do that. It's coded as a big box wholesale store. So oftentimes you'll see that you might have a one-off credit card issuer that will allow you to buy tickets, or some that won't. So it really is going to run the gamut. And Johnny Jimenez, really stay on that thought because we're going to talk about PenFed in a minute. Johnny Jimenez says, I've been looking into opening an account with PenFed. I like what they've been doing there. Tell me exactly what you've liked. Give me some bullet points. What do you like that PenFed's been doing? So I can be aware of that. And so that's exactly what my next slide has on it. PenFed. So new credit card approvals, and it's going to be from the Avon card to the PenFed card. So let's go into my screen here because I want to show you my credit card master list real quick. And let's jot that down. So right now, this is the credit card master list. If you haven't seen it, it's basically a list of cards that you can get pre-approved for, with just a soft credit pull. And some of these at the top, which are credit builders, they will fully approve you with no credit check whatsoever. So you never have to worry about, if you have terrible credit, if you have a bankruptcy on your credit report, you don't have to worry about that with these credit builders or secure cards at the top. But this is the list I made a few weeks back. Uh, you can get access to this in the pinned comment on this stream. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can get access to it for free in the pinned comment. But I've been making some new additions to it. So if I scroll down to the bottom here, I have everything. I got credit builders, store credit cards that will pre-approve you, banks, so commercial banks like Amex and Capital One, and then credit unions. I put a star next to it, PenFed. So if I go to PenFed real quick, check this out. You can actually pre-qualify for any of these PenFed cards. You can go ahead and pre-qualify, and like for example, I would like the Power Cash Rewards card. If I was a PenFed, I would try to start there. And so, you would just go through this application and fill out, your rent, just your name, social security number, um, your rent, your address, just to verify your income and your identity. And you'll be able to just click show me my offer right here at the bottom. Oh, let me see. Let me share this tab. Sorry. So this is the tab. This is the PenFed pre-qualification application. So once you get here, you just enter your name and your address and your social security number, like I said, and they're going to want to know your debt to income ratio. So just enter your income and what you pay for rent or a mortgage, and they'll be able to display the offers that they have available to you right here for PenFed. And so, what you need to know about a pre-qualification, slightly different than a pre-approval, right? So when you pre-qualify, it's a little less in depth. It's going to give you you can't it's not going to give you as much confidence because it's not checking as much of your credit as a pre-approval would. So it's slightly less dependable, but it's still a good place to start to see, to give yourself a little bit more confidence before you actually apply. Because PenFed, I believe, is one of the credit unions that requires a hard credit pull before they will let you join their credit union. The good thing about PenFed is that anybody can join their credit union, and they have some good products here. But I just added that to the pre-approval list. So there's a second card. Let me go ahead and share this screen. So let's go back to the credit card pre-approval list, and down at the bottom, I have the Avon card. So I was talking with the developers of this new card. It's a little different. This card, it's a credit card, but it's backed and collateralized. So it's secured based on your home. So if you own a home, you can get this card. It's basically like a HELOC, but in credit card form. It works slightly different, but it has some really good. I'm going to be doing a review on this card. But one of the good things about this card, if we go to the home screen, is that you can check your offer. So they will actually pre-approve you, and those limits go up to $250,000, and that's based on how much equity you have in your home. But the good thing is that they will show you a pre-approval, and they will give you a credit limit offer before you fully sign up, and they do the hard pull to accept the offer. So it's actually one of those rare opportunities to see your credit line before you get approved. So that's the Avon card. So you guys definitely take advantage of this. I think it's a really good tool. I'm gonna continue to add some things, just add more, options here on a weekly basis. Every time I come across a new card that I see is offering a pre-approval or pre-qualification, I'm gonna bring it right here to this list, and you can see it updated in real time. So I see a lot of talk about PenFed. Uno says PenFed's customer service is also top notch. We'll return calls too. Okay, that's good. Listen, you can always trust that a credit union is going to have great customer service. I reviewed the Sky One Credit Union out in California just maybe a month or so ago, and I found their customer service to be great as well. Credit unions are a breath of fresh air because they really are community focused. They really do try to work with you, and they put a real strong emphasis on getting back to you and helping you throughout your journey, learning about their products. The commercial banks just don't do that. They just don't take it there. I remember going to the to the home screen, and I was just amazed that there was a real person basically helping me browse the credit union's home screen on their website, and I was able to immediately talk, via chat to a real person. Really good to see that. Ooh, Christoph, this is interesting. I don't think I knew this. So Christoph said, Cal, people should know that they must call the credit union, or I'm sorry, they must call the credit card company and specifically state the amount that you want to pay towards the cash advance. And if not, the payment goes towards the regular balance. Okay. So yeah, in the event that you do pull out a cash advance, the credit card company may automatically route your payment to pay off the balance that you have a grace period on anyway, instead of paying down the cash advance that you're paying for interest on daily. So that's a good point. Thanks for raising that to me. Do we have any PinFed users in here, by the way? What do you any other people in here that has some great experience with PinFed, or did they give you a high credit limit? They're kind of known, kind of second to Navy Federal, uh, for giving out high credit limits, but I've seen a lot of success stories out there about people coming in the door with like a 20,000 plus limit. Danny Boy said, PinFed user right here. I hear you, Danny. Which card do you have with PinFed? And did you pre-qualify? Another thing I want to say about these pre-qualification and pre-approval tools is that they're not always available. As I've gone deeper into kind of studying these credit unions and banks and fintechs, I've noticed that they will turn on and off these pages, these landing pages, these buttons. Sometimes you'll see them, throughout the year if they're prioritizing, new signups. If they have a goal to meet, then they might make some extra effort to extend the olive branch to get some new signups. And other times they'll pull back and they won't let you pre-approve. So I find that interesting that these different strategies and tactics that they try to implement to either stop the flow or increase signups. So Rudy Sarah, what's up? Welcome back, Rudy Sarah. I just joined PinFed about 2 months ago. Nice. How do you liking your time with PinFed? And how close, how much of a relationship have you built with them? And what do you have to show for it? And congrats on getting in the door with PinFed, by the way. All right, Kimi Vlog says, been with Navy Federal since February. They gave me 20,000 on a card back in September. I just gave them my deposits. Best bank, hands down. I hear you. Yeah, listen, you'll be hard pressed to find somebody that will talk down on Navy Fed. Navy Fed is like the apple of everyone's eye. It's it's the number one credit union. I think the only thing that's going against Navy Fed is allowing, nationwide membership. Now, for most intents and purposes, a lot of people can get in the door. And congrats on that $20,000 limit, by the way. Great job on that. Um, I it what PenFed did about 2 years ago was open up their doors and eligibility, and you don't even need to sign up for the American Credit or Consumer Council or any other association to be a member of PenFed. All you got to do is sign up just like a standard bank would have you do. So I think that's the only thing that's standing in the way with Navy Fed, because just everybody can't get it. You have to find a way, a back door in. And I'd love to hear about and see these success stories. I want to prioritize anybody. Has anybody used my pre-approval tool to actually get pre-approved and fully approved for a credit card that they've wanted? Let me know and I'll shout you out, because I really love to hear that it's working for people. I had somebody use the tool to sign up for the Venture X card. So let me show you real quick what happened here. If we bring that tool back up. So this is the master credit card list pre-approval tool. So what they did was they came down to banks. And by the way, you can section this off. You can like go in different orders, descending or ascending, and you can basically sort these out however you want to. But they went down to Capital One Venture X, and they were able to use this specific link. And I'll take you over to the link right now. Here's the landing page. So they basically are able to click this link, head over to get pre-approved for the Venture X card, which is notoriously hard to get approved for. I've seen so many stories of people with 800 credit scores, you know, high 700s, and they were completely shocked that they didn't get approved for this card. So it's nice to be able to get, to see that you're pre-approved. It's basically like a 9 out of 10, 90% chance that you're going to get the card. And it's hard to find this landing page. They don't, from what I can see, they don't have a direct link on their website to get here. Uno, I love when when people give out great uh, information and really good recommendations in the comment section. And right here is just an example of that. Discover is great for beginners and will also give you more frequent credit limit increases. This is a fact. What I love about Discover, and it's like a no-brainer to recommend to people, is that they have the Discover Secure card, which tells you right on the face. It gives you a pathway to get the unsecured version. It takes about 4 to 6 months. And then from there, it will actually grow with you. And you can actually request credit limit increases on a monthly basis. So, and it's just a soft pull. And they have um, you know, a lot of evidence of actually giving those credit limit increases to people. Another good recommendation here, Johnny Menace, thank you for that, is I would recommend opening a checking account and getting the Chase Rise card with Chase Bank. And that's a brand new card. They just unveiled that, over the summer. And they tell you, they give you the blueprint right on the landing page. It says sign up for an account. I think it says, deposit like $250 or something like that. Sign up for the Rise card. And the Rise card, the great thing about it is it gives you 1.5% cash back right off the bat. Really, it's a good earning card for what it is, and it starts you on the process of building out your Chase credit card system. So I'm definitely glad. Now it is focused for on people who are new to credit. So they definitely bold that is new to credit. So if you have bad credit, it's probably not going to be likely that you're going to get approved just based on what Chase is saying. And Uno just talking about Discover again. He said, I started with the Discover uh years ago, and now I have over a $25,000 credit limit. Yeah, listen, that's extremely high. And I've seen people have over 30,000. I mean, it's going on and up, and it's really based a lot on your income and how much you're spending. But I think the key component with Discover is they want to see, high spending on the card, or at least a good percentage. They want to see a lot of usage on the card too before they increase your limit. Because, for me, I have a hard time increasing my Discover limit just because I don't use it that much. But if I was using it, I'm confident they would give me those limit increases. So you guys should know. Go ahead and like this stream if you want to see more live streams just like this. And I'm happy that everybody was able to join me this weekend. And guys, you should know I do this every single Sunday at 7 p.m. And I want everybody to have a great week, get a good start to your week, and have a good night.